We really need to have a new video.
Yeah, we do.
I'm watching it every Friday. It's boring. No, it's a really nice video. Now.
Big round of applause. Let's go. Hello.
Hello, everyone.
What a feeling.
That's always lovely to
Yeah.
hear that and be here. We are still in Odense, still at Codegarden, day 2. What happened today?
Well, there's an elephant in the room to address me. I'm wearing a jazzy shirt for probably the first time in my life. Thank you. A few people have asked me, am I wearing it for a bet? The answer is no. We wore these shirts today. They're actually custom. They have Codegarden logos on them. They also have my company logo on them. My whole team is wearing them in support of my colleague Jason, who's done an amazing talk about async and cheese. If anyone had lunch with Jason, you will know the cheese turned very quickly sweaty and stank. It's horrible. It stank. It really stank. Anyway.
High quality cheese.
I think it was like six euros in netto or something.
Yeah, but I can say I attended your talk, Jason. It was an amazing kind of visual representation of how async communication between code methods and threads can look like, especially like the thread pool. Because that was very visual way of handling that. What other talks did you attend today, Callum?
That's it. No, that's a lie. I attended Jonah's talk as well. I was the chief photographer for Jonah's talk, taking lots of pictures. Someone asked in the audience if I could come and take pictures of their talk as well, and I said I'm not the official photographer. I'm just doing this as a favor. But no, Jonah's talk was great. We're going to talk to Jonah in a minute, so let's not spoil too much.
Yes, I've attended a couple of the talks today about some best practices from Heather. I saw Heather somewhere. Yes, that was a really nice talk today as well. A couple of other ones as well. But yeah, it was a fair mix of talks, to be fair. It wasn't too technical from some of them. There was one about being human. I kind of liked as well this one because I try to be human for most of the time and without success and with success sometimes. And yeah, that was amazing. Let's maybe introduce some other opinions at some point today about the talks and
have a little listen. We wanted to start a new umbraCoffee tradition. Being at Codegarden, we thought, with a live audience, what better time than to launch the brand new umbraCoffee Awards. So we have a couple of categories for awards. We actually wanted to give out a nice, shiny gold envelope. Look at that, fantastic. Because there's a lot of people, a lot of things that go on behind the scenes to make umbraCoffee at Codegarden happen, and including these delicious umbraCoffees on the stage, which has been harder than you'd think to make work. So we wanted to announce a couple of award winners.
The first category is...
Drum roll. Let's get a drum roll in the room.
The Party Savers.
Party Savers.
Party Savers.
Do we know who the nominees are? I don't think we do. There might only be one nominee.
We can skip nominees.
Who's
The winner is...
Oh, that says me. Let's pretend that says something. It is Mahmoud and Gabriel.
Woo! I don't know if they are here or they're saving another party, but big kudos to them for saving some parties today.
Yes, indeed.
The second category is...
Yes. Best award show hosts at Codegarden. Let's get a drum roll, please.
The winner is... Callum and Martin.
Whoa! Thank you.
No, and going to the real award and the biggest role in this episode, the true best award shows hosts, Carla and Andy.
Let's welcome them onto the stage. I'll let you squeeze through here. We can do a high five.
Okay.
Here we go.
Yes.
Yeah, you can sit. Unfortunately, the cafe had run out of certain types of coffee, so you might, if you'd like a coffee, you can have one of those. This is tea, yes, tea.
Tea is in this cup.
Fantastic. And we have microphones for you both as well. Sorry.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. I think we may have had both of you last year in different times.
I think we were in the same
Same
episode.
time. Same chairs as
I
well.
re-
Are
I
they
re-
Spanish chairs? Or?
They are very uncomfortable. That's all I
They're
know.
lovely.
I remember
them.
being here, but Andy does not. So there's
Okay.
that.
So yeah, how did it went for you until now from the Codegarden perspective? You had various roles. Of course, we tried to pretend that we are the host of awards, but you did the job. And you handled some edge cases, I would say, as well.
Did you really have to bring that up?
I don't
heard
remember that. I
Someone
think it went
captured
well.
that. I haven't noticed, but some people said that there were some kind of issues.
Thanks for bringing that up. Yep.
Yeah. In rehearsals, it went perfectly. It was amazing. There was none
It
of
worked on your machine. That's what
Yeah.
usually we say.
that. Yeah, exactly.
Which is why I said we shouldn't even rehearse, because it's not going to actually end up that way. But anyway, yeah, I was able to host the awards last year, and what a privilege to award so many amazing companies and individuals in the community with such a special honor. So I twisted his arm this year because I thought it would be pretty fun to have a co-host.
During umbraCoffee Spark, at 1 a.m, after quite a large amount of Guinness, you convinced me to do this.
This is true, and I didn't think you would actually remember that you said yes. Maybe your answer was no, but I pretended that it was yes. And then, so he was really dreading it, took it way more serious than me, and then yesterday he's like, I think I'm actually looking forward to this. So he did a pretty good job, right? Yeah?
Yeah.
I was going to remark, you're looking incredibly dapper yesterday, Andy, and we saw you briefly in the hotel afterwards, and you were heading out on the town, I think, in your suit still, which is impressive.
Yeah, if you were in McDonald's in Odense at 2 a.m, I was still in a tux.
Yeah.
Funnily though, I was the only one. It was really weird.
He did actually get kicked out of McDonald's as well.
In a tux.
In a tux.
Only because it was closing time. I was, it's fine.
Closed down a McDonald's in a tux.
But
That
again,
should be an award.
But also we relate heavily to the hard role of doing a live show, first of all. Second, a very watched show in this case. It was like a lot of people watching. And of course, without decreasing the importance of any awards, it was a tough job and you did really, really well. Regarding to the process, you said yesterday, Carla, about the kind of amount of work placed into finding out the winners. How was it this year? What was the most challenging part for you in this process?
Right. Well, I think as hard as it is to host something live and deal with the little surprises that come along the way, really the hardest job is that of our jurors. Yeah. I mentioned it really is a lengthy process. I was a juror 2 years ago, so I got to experience that, but we had almost 200 entries, and each entry typically has a promo video of some kind introducing the project of like three minutes. So if you take 3 minutes times 200, like just do the math of watching the video, and then you have to interact with each either package or site. And so the time and effort that goes into each one of these categories is really behind the scenes, but it's a lot of work for our jurors. So they did the hard work. We just got to do the fun part about announcing the winners and celebrating them. So kudos to the jurors that put that time in. It's a huge privilege to be able to look at all those entries too. I know that watching what all the people are doing in the community is actually kind of fun, because you get to see all of the solutions that have been done and submitted. So it's really neat to be on both sides.
Nice. And Andy, you were awarded last year, right, with an award. So you've seen it right now from two perspectives. Which perspective was easier to handle?
Definitely picking up awards rather than hosting them is easier, I would say. Maybe not the work that leads up to it, but yeah, we were on stage last year for the Jury's Choice, and again this year. And I think I said it on stage last night, it's such a huge privilege to be there. And it really changed our presence in the community and in the wider industry. Like even if you're nominated for these things, it's like such a massive honor. So congratulations yesterday to all the nominees as well.
Yeah. I think we can congratulate everyone who submitted this, because we know it from the different perspective as well, because we either submitted some projects to awards or didn't submit because the deadline was too tight, or submitted it the day before the deadline. been there, done that. So it is tough for everyone, and but it is a huge recognition. And I think just to call to action from that is like share your work basically, right? Because without being shared, it cannot be discovered. As we are always inspired, Mikael and all other guys from the community. We always discuss who was kind of nominated, what project was doing what, did they share everything? Is there anything else that we maybe cannot see? And this is hard work that also jury does, that they need to find out what is there, and maybe what was not shared with us, and if it's really that good to win the category.
It's also really hard to communicate how great your thing is that you've worked so hard on into a 2-minute piece of video and writing and whatever else to convince someone else that your baby is also awesome. So the fact that it's a fair amount of effort. I think I spent a good few days working on our entries in the past, which paid off, which is awesome. But yeah, I encourage people to apply, but plan it. Start thinking for next year, because
tough sales role, I would say, selling our code for the jury, because not everything is seen, right?
So I have a question for you. What did you think about the awards this year? They were kind of fancy. There were sparks and confetti.
There were sparks. Was there no sparks last year?
Not that I've experienced.
There was definitely pyrotechnics at some point during last year's Codegarden. I just can't quite remember when. It was definitely impressive. It was sparkly, to say the least.
And I would revert the question, Carla. Have you practiced a confetti shot?
You know, those confetti cannons really let me down this year. They are, I think we got a bad batch. They are impossible.
Apparently, you just need to point them and twist, and it's really easy.
Yeah. I mean, I did ask him to be my co-host, so I was fully expecting a lot of harassment.
That's the teamwork.
Yeah.
Teamwork, right?
Teamwork, yep.
And async synchronization of shooting confetti tubes is...
We should have practiced that, really.
We should have practiced it. I was actually quite tempted to try and practice the confetti cannon at the same time as the sparks, but apparently that's against the code of conduct.
Is it?
So, yeah.
Also the fire
unsafe.
code. You know.
Yeah.
No, but I think it looked really, really fancy. Plus, we probably discuss later at night how it looks without the lights being on, how the stage was presenting. So it is getting definitely more professional. And generally, the theme, the awards, the nominations, everything was fine. Really great.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, big round of applause and kudos for our greatest award host ever.
Be sure to take some coffee with you, because Martin is not taking it home.
And coffee.
Take your umbraCoffee coffee as well. Thank you very much. Just shuffle off this tiny stage. All right. Well, it goes without saying, Martin, that probably one of the key themes of Codegarden this year has been the new back office. And we've spoken about this a lot on umbraCoffee as well. We've had Jakob on a few episodes ago. We've also had Philip on in our most recent episode. It's not always been, let's say, fairies and rainbows. It's been a bit critical at times, but it comes from a place of love. And I think this Codegarden has been largely around celebrating the work that the back office UI team have been doing, and also the fact that 14's out and getting hands-on and starting to get used to it. So maybe we should talk to some people that are familiar with this.
Actors behind the scenes who have made it possible.
Yeah, we were speaking with the back office UI team yesterday and seeing how many people could come on, and I think 6 people are offered, and we felt that might be a bit challenging on this stage. If you saw yesterday, we had like Australians hanging off each end of the stage. So
this was the first round of integration tests of this stage. It passed, so second round today.
Yeah, let's invite whoever from the team agreed, I can't really remember, to come up on stage from the back office UI team. Let's give them a round of applause.
Yep.
Hello. We do high fives. Hello.
High five.
You can have my chair. I will stand or something. Hello. I have a bone to pick with you, Niels.
Oh, okay.
Because yesterday you hosted a competing chat show.
How was it competing?
At the same time.
No.
What's going on?
Before your time, didn't
Did you? Did it end before us?
we
Well,
all
I have to
time?
say I might be a bit envious because it was very polished. You had branding. You had a band. Tell us a bit about that.
Well, we had a week of preparation.
Same as we do before every Friday. We have.
But there was a team as well helping out. So thanks to the team. Lasse, who was it? Rune, Mads, everyone were really like gathering and brainstorming on how we could solve this idea that I had about bringing some community members on stage for a small talk, and
Nice.
they turned it into a talk show, and I was like, okay, then I guess I have to be a talk show host.
Very good.
So we really need
Yeah.
to consider this awards for the best show or whatever next year. Man.
Maybe. I went into the room and it was packed, absolutely packed.
Yeah.
You know, every seat filled and people standing at the back. So I think it went down very well. Looked
Thank you.
good.
But I think, again, no matter how much we would talk about the work that you have done, it's still kind of new, fresh, and interesting for everyone, I think. So can you share even more, or anything else that maybe popped out through yesterday's shows, anything what surprised you after delivering your work so far? And can you start, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, we got it out. Was obviously a lot to do yet, but we were happy to get all the breaking changes out there so people know what they have to work with. I've been so pleased to see a lot of talks at Codegarden discussing how to migrate to V14, how to get started, just easing people into the path of upgrading. Yeah, and that's essentially what we dove into in the talk show yesterday.
Yeah.
So.
Do you remember when the first work has started?
Well, yeah, RFC 2020, that was maybe considered the first work. The first commit was May 17th, 22.
Knows the date.
That was a very specific.
It's ingrained in your brain there.
Yeah.
So it's been a process. I think we've been all discussing it over the time. Some of you were also joining us to share some of the progress and, of course, the recent times as well. Lee, you joined the team relatively not that far away in time, right? So
Yeah,
how it looked from your perspective, new perspective?
I joined the team in December, so I had 6 months, but yeah, everyone else had been on it for, well, now 2 years. So yes, kind of trying to fit into the team and hit the ground running and do this. But we were talking about stats, and can you remember how many commits were in the repository and how many commits that I did?
Yeah, I mean, 42,000 commits, I think. No, yeah,
I know that I think Mass has the most commits and then Niels, but I think
So
within 6 months I had, what was it, like 10% of the commits or something? So everyone was so intense of trying to get this release ready. So it's been a great team effort.
So as a proper new junior, how many things did you break
Junior,
in the team? In the team?
as the newcomer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't look at dynamic route too closely. That was my first thing.
Oh dear.
we were really happy to have Lee join, coming out directly from the community side and bringing a lot of perspectives in on how to do the extension API. And he's been working on his contentment package alongside it, and that's really been helpful to get there.
I'm glad you brought that up. Lee, when's contentment coming for V14?
The alpha is ready now. The alpha is out. Yes. So yes, please test it.
Is this a Lee Kelleher alpha or like an umbraCo HQ alpha? Is this?
Cover your ears. it's mine. Well, it's very interesting because I don't think I could have done what I needed to do without having the knowledge of being on the back office team, especially in this short amount of time. So, yeah, it's all been, I don't know, what's the right word for it? It's very, a good kind of cycle of learning and then being able to apply that to what is now a community package. So, yeah.
Excellent. It's probably one of the larger of the projects being built for the new back office UI, because you had integrations and extensions on all kinds of weird things that maybe weren't supposed to be extended, or
there were a fair few hacks that are no longer hacks. So
Good.
Interesting.
I was talking with Matt Brailsford briefly earlier as well about the stuff that's changing in V14 and stuff that umbraCo Commerce used that again was a bit odd, like one of them being you put the variants editor into a property and then it hides the property and it appears as a, what are they called, workspace apps now? Context apps of old, which was a hack. It was always a hack, but it's now like how can you do those sorts of things properly with the APIs?
You can, and it doesn't feel like a hack anymore. So it's all good.
Exceptional. So that's available on NuGet now, and I saw there was a little ticker in the back office that shows you sort of
There is
progress towards.
There is a very annoying dashboard that will try to prevent you from putting this into production because it's an alpha. So it gives a status update and lists everything with the current status of all the property editors and things like that. So
Very cool. So we have data list in V14?
Yes, but some of the data sources still need working.
Caveats.
Yeah.
That's very cool. That's certainly a blocker for maybe quite a few people getting started or attempting to upgrade some projects to 14. So that's excellent news. Well done.
Yes.
Well done. Having previously taken a stance that this was not going to be a goal.
Oh, I didn't know what I was going to do. I was just trying to figure out if there was enough hours in the day to do this. So, yes, this is why it's kind of been,
It was an agile
released
process.
a little bit later. Yes. Yes.
And Jacob, the new back office is built in jQuery, right?
Yes, of course. And you can come and talk to me about jQuery and AngularJS if you'd like, and I'll tell you exactly why not to use them.
Fantastic. But a quick summary then for anyone that doesn't know, when we're talking new back office, we're talking web components, TypeScript, lit, and...
native to the browser, except for lit, which is syntactic sugar, helping us building web components more easily. Yep.
Awesome.
Native to the browser.
And people don't need to know about TypeScript or lit to be building anything with the new back office either.
No, in fact, ES modules allowing you to export something and import other things. You export a web component, we load that up in the back office. How you build that web component is entirely up to you. It's registered through JavaScript in the browser.
Excellent.
And Niels, you've been very passionate about everything back office related since you started doing that. I've attended one of the talks that you gave. I can't remember even when and where it was. So what's next on your agenda then with the work, if everything is done already?
Yeah, what is next? That's a good question. We are going to make some variant blocks at one point to be part of. And then, is it for 14? I actually don't know the plans. 15. Okay, good. But yes, that's a feature you can look forward to. Yeah. Yeah.
Not only we, everyone else. That's amazing. So it's not that end of the work right now. There are more frameworks to be looked at some point. There is
a lot to do, and then we'll hopefully see some extensions pushing the boundaries, the new boundaries, and then we'll have to learn from that. I'm really looking forward to see.
We did have some features we had to leave behind in 13 for now, but they will be 14. There for 14.
Yeah.
A lot of things weren't directly migratable, translatable. We want to build them better, even better for 14. So they're coming soon.
Lovely. Very cool. So I guess you're all busy people, but maybe we can give a shout out to the people we couldn't fit on the stage as well. But I'll leave that to one of you because I don't know the whole list.
We got Jesper and Lone here in the audience somewhere. We got Mads, and of course Nathan and Julia has been a big help from coming out of the DXP team, helping us for half a year at a time and going back to their own teams and building more web components themselves. So.
Fantastic. Let's give the whole team a big round of applause. Thanks, guys. Always lovely to have you join us, as always. And make sure you grab some coffee so Martin doesn't have to take it home.
Coffee?
Coasters and whatever else. And if we owe you a mug, please come and get one. The UI team, everybody.
Yep.
We'll get you one. Okay. Well, the other word I've been hearing a lot about this week is cloud. Cloud, right?
Developers. Cloud.
Yeah.
And cloud.
Yeah, and cloud. But maybe we can talk about cloud, but not just umbraCo cloud, but the cloud in general, Azure as well. So let's give Jonah and Keck a huge welcome to the stage. Cloud. Yes.
Do you want some coffee?
Sure.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, marching consort. Coffee. You need a coaster, yeah.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Amazing. Well, hello, both of you.
Hello.
Hello. Keck, we were having a chat yesterday, and you told me that you were sat in the front row of umbraCoffee last year at Codegarden, just waiting to be invited up on stage, and we never brought you up on stage. I'm really sorry.
Yeah, I feel a bit Dutch rudder about that.
I'm sorry.
We need to reach out to our team who is responsible for guest selection. But that's how it is in the big shows. But
One can only hope.
we were paid fair enough this year to get you all out on the stage. No, but it was always a kind of challenge for us to discuss all of the things. And you've been involved in so many things as well in your work. So what has been making you busy recently the most?
Sorry, what?
What made you busy the most recently?
Most busy. Well, we have over 20 people working on umbraCo Cloud right now, and they are very, very good at what they do, and they are very, productive. So needing to keep up with all these people and the teams, what they're actually producing, making sure that they work together when needed, that we get tested the features that we build, and also aligning what we build with the business. It's quite a lot of work actually. So I would say everything.
I'm of course joking from time to time because we were talking. You were doing a tour across the companies far away in time already when you were gathering a lot of the feedback, a lot of opinions about the cloud products, about what is missing, maybe what is needed from the perspective of the agencies and developers and so on. And we've seen a lot of demos, a lot of new features on cloud this week and this conference. And there is a lot of the things that were developed since the last time when some of the us here even touched the cloud, right? So it's been a huge progress, I think, over the time. And you said 20 people working on the product itself, benefiting from CMS itself, and of course elevating this. And today or yesterday we heard about some new ideas of a flexible environment, for example, and some more
Sustainability dashboard as well. Anything we missed? Any big new announcements? Load balancing is a future roadmap item that was maybe
Yeah, that's a
spoken about.
future roadmap item. The sustainability dashboard is coming 1st of July or later this month, and the flexible environments are all being worked on right now. I think that's the two biggest thing that's in progress right now.
So the flexible environments allows me to not just have a linear flow, which currently is dev, staging, live, I think.
Yes.
It allows me to have sub-environments of any of those environments as well, I guess.
Eventually, yes. The first iteration is just going to be on the development environment. Yeah. So this is like, it's a paradigm shift in how we thought cloud. It was built to have these three environments. So now we need to change a lot of underlying stuff, just like Jacob had to do for changing. To show you the same backup, it's pretty much the same that we're going through right now.
Yeah, and deploy as well, I guess, is also directional.
Yes.
So,
yeah, deploy has this devastating live in the back office as well. We need to figure out how to also show it in there. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. I was looking at the demo yesterday. I think it was in the keynote, wasn't it? The demo of like basically promoting a change up, down, left, right, which is a strange concept that like we don't really think that way currently, but makes some sense.
No, I think that terminology is also going to change. We did 9 UI UX tests on this last week. So while the demo was being recorded and some of the feedback was, wouldn't it be better if instead of saying up, it says the name of the environment you're deploying to? So that's most likely going to change.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's cool. And the sustainability dashboard was showed, I believe when you did your roadshow, it was late 22, the idea of this at least was floated. And so it's awesome to see that that's actually now come to fruition too. And it's basically just surfacing the CO2 usage of the compute that each project is using in a dashboard. That means you can report on it easily. And
yeah, that's the idea. And currently it's compute, but we want to extend to as much as we can.
Yeah. And Jonah, speaking about deployments, ROs, and environments, you did a nice talk today about the Azure Developer CLI.
Yes, I did.
And you are working with DevOps on a daily basis.
Yes.
You can probably introduce yourself for some people who don't know what you do and how it cross paths with umbraCo then.
Is it working? Yes.
Yeah, it is.
Yes. So you want me to share what I do? Yes. And then my talk. And then the last question?
And what it has in common with umbraCo?
Oh, that's an interesting last question. Okay, let me see. That's like 3 questions in one. I'll try to answer, and let's see if I win an award. So hi everyone. I'm Jonah Anderson. This is my first umbraCoffee.
Not your first
Second. I'm sorry. It's a long day. It did also work today. It's my second umbraCoffee and my second Codegarden. And I'm from Sweden. I work as an IT consultant with a mix of diverse role as development, cloud, DevOps, and Azure, which is my focus. But day to day, I lead a team where we do infrastructure platform engineering, and we do a lot of DevOps and Azure. So that's what I do. And sometimes I get to code some .NET helper tools to allow us DevOps team or platform engineering teams to be effective in how we deploy our tools. Like, for example, we built our own tool to help us automate our release notes, so we don't have to manually do the release stuff on a notepad, for example. But that's what I do. I'm very active in the Microsoft community. I am leading Azure User Group Sweden, and I think I do a lot of things, so I think that's enough. Yes, and
but you talked about the CLI tools for developers, and I think there is a lot of power CLI users here, they were all a lot of people were interested on how we can do the deployments, how we automate the deployments. I think that the cloud products and also the pipelines and the ways how we ship things in between of our computers and someone else's computers in cloud is changing. Do you use these tools on a daily basis, and how do you incorporate the CLI DevOps pipelines in the world of evolving applications architectures?
Yes, great question. And I've been talking about this topic, the Azure Developer CLI, for the past 6 months in different conferences, because it's a new tool that got released last year. It's still the marketplace plugin for it is still on preview. But what I like about it as a developer and someone who leads a team with both DevOps and working with different teams is that it allows us developer to be productive and have this option for collaboration. From development, where front-end developers and back-end developers can work together in shared workspace, including the test team, the QA team. And also, it's open source, it's polyglot, any languages, and by just like 4 or 5 commands, in a few steps, you're ready to deploy it to the cloud after setting it up. But in my perspective, it's a good CLI tool for collaboration, and also if you want to build something quick with some boiler templates, because it uses some kind of templates that's prepared for you that you can customize with your own code or build on top of it.
Maybe Kek, of course I know that umbraCo Cloud keeps a lot of these things abstracted away, and that's slightly the point, that you manage it all for us, but I guess you're using very similar things under the hood in cloud too. I believe from previous talks I've seen maybe you're using Terraform for your infrastructure, and maybe you can shed a little light and peek behind the curtain on some of the cloud architecture, because we love this stuff.
I'm also curious to hear the umbraCo Cloud part.
I was really nervous that you would start talking technical to me.
Sorry.
I was like,
no, that's fine. It's fine. There's a lot of hardworking people on the cloud teams that knows a lot more about this than me. But definitely, we started using Terraform infrastructure as code, etc. Several years ago. We've actually done it so successfully that Novo Nordisk asked a couple of our developers, Martin and Mikkel from the platform team, to go talk at Novo Nordisk and show how we did it, because they want to learn from that as well. And they were quite impressed with the setup that we have. That's about as much as I know about it. So I just take the word for it that it's good. But it seems to be working. We have a SRE team as well, led by Mikkelas, and he's doing a lot of work to make sure that these things are easy for the teams. I need a database, all right, here's the Terraform for that to spin it up, and now you have access to all the key vaults and everything that you need access to in order to operate within the whole infrastructure of cloud. It's a big, it's very deep, but it's very well engineered, and we're really starting to see the payoffs of doing it in these ways.
Yeah. I have something to add in the Azure side, and this is also part of what I do. So part of what I do every day, every time we do like new application service, because we have a microservice architecture in my project where I'm doing IT consulting. So we use Terraform as our infrastructure as code, and it's really convenient that you can automate building the infrastructure, especially if you want to build a new environment to a new region in Azure or a new resource group. But one of the challenges, because it's not always perfect, right? One of the challenges that I notice in my experience is the configuration part, because developers and platform engineers need to be collaborating and communicating that there are some system configurations that are being changed. Otherwise, when you run the script to the cloud and then a developer manually configured the app settings on the Azure portal, then there will be connection string problems and something broke in production. So collaboration and communication and transparency is very important. So the tech that we do, even though we have right tools, whatever tools, communication is important because we're humans. Being human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned it to you after your talk today that you had a slide about I see code everywhere or something like that, and it was like maybe we are biased at some point because we are coming from the development space, but we want to keep things close to our code, and having infrastructure close to our code makes us all see and test it and fail fast when it comes to issues in between of these services. And now we have a lot of languages, a lot of platforms, and one of those that you've presented today as well, but Biceps, Terraform, all the other things that makes us code it, basically. And then, of course, source code it, pull request changes, and see the changes in general. That makes it all easier to predict and test.
I was going to say the fact that Kek's on stage here and he said the word SRE, Site Reliability Engineering, is fantastic considering umbraCo Cloud maybe 10 years ago when it was first unveiled as Concord, that word would never have been mentioned at all. And this is in part, I guess, due to the scale, but also the evolution of that practice in modern software development, like the advent of DevOps and bringing these two previously isolated teams, infrastructure developers, far closer together. Sounds like that's something that's throughout both of your teams in all the work you do. So that's cool. Yeah. Jonah, I was going to say, because the last time we had you on umbraCoffee, you mentioned you were writing a book, and you have now written a book, and
Yes.
the book is available, and it's a fantastic book. It's
Yes.
learning Microsoft Azure.
Yes, so I wrote a book. It's 6 months ago. It was published, Learning Microsoft Azure, Cloud Computing and Development Fundamentals with O'Reilly. So it's published internationally, and it's been doing good so far. I worked with it on my spare time, on my full-time job for 18 months, I think. So I'm very happy it's finished. It's my first summer without sitting on that book, but I'm
How
very
do you
happy.
feel with it right now?
You just started a workshop
Yeah.
project, though.
Yeah, I have a new project. I am building a new on-demand course with O'Reilly, how to start a career in cloud engineering. So I've been busy with that. So while I'm flying, I'm busy offline working. But I try my best to have this work-life balance as well. So I have the entire July off and just do gardening at home. But the book has been successful. It's currently being translated to Chinese. So
Wow.
Chinese people can read it, but I had to double check with O'Reilly. How do I verify if the translator translated my words correctly? But I trust that they do their job.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Google Translate all of it. Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, people can go and buy that book. It's Learning Microsoft Azure. It's from O'Reilly, and you've got ebook versions of it as well, and all kinds of things. It's
Yes,
everywhere.
yes, yeah. Thank you so much, Callum, for the marketing.
reminding about
I have to give you a 10%,
Martin
right?
and I have Martin and I have very luckily received signed copies from
Yes.
Jonas. We're infinitely grateful to you.
Yes, thank you. You're welcome.
So yeah, thank you.
We actually have a book case in umbraCo, so could you send us a signed copy as well? I'll
Yeah,
put it there.
yeah,
Oh, that's
yes,
lovely.
that would be great. Maybe we can collaborate and we
Book
can write
exchange.
umbraCo Cloud together. I need to learn umbraco first.
Yeah, no, you don't need to learn umbraco to learn umbraco cloud. Sure, let's do it.
I can share the writing experience, and then we can
Yes.
collaborate. That
No,
would
we
be
do.
great.
We use books to onboard our people, so maybe that could
Yeah,
become
yeah,
one
that
of them.
would be great. Yeah, let's stay connected.
Amazing. Well, thank you both. It's lovely to have you join us. Grab some coffee, please.
Yes.
If you don't have an umbraCoffee mug, take a mug. Well, we can give you a clean one.
How many can I take?
What, coffees? As many bags as you want.
Yes.
Yeah, you can take 2.
Oh, challenge accepted. Challenge accepted, though. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you alive?
Okay. Kek is okay. Kek was just trying to get out of here a bit too quickly with all the coffee, but... Yeah, far too much coffee.
We said that we can do everything for views, but not that. That was dangerous.
We were talking about the lamp on the stage falling and hitting someone or something as a way to get more views, but that's a new one. Anyway, we hope Kek's okay. Okay, we were... Give him a round of applause. All right, that's unexpected.
No, that is just the beginning of the evening, right?
Yeah, this is just the beginning of the shenanigans. Okay, we were going to bring up a couple of few last guests, maybe some new MVPs, some first-time Codegarden attendees. If you'd like to join us on stage, we've maybe got space for 2 or 3. So
this is the unique opportunity to be an unplanned umbraCoffee guest.
and you get a mug.
So any umbraco MVPs, new umbraco MVPs, Codegarden first-timers, anyone who wants to join us on stage, be careful while running, but please join us on stage. Come on.
Richard.
Richard.
Hello. Come on,
Anyone
we need
else?
someone else. Joe.
Who's here for the first time? Come on, join us.
Amazing.
Do you remember, there's one picture from 1 year of umbraCoffee where we had probably 30 people sitting
Yeah,
with
the
us.
stage is a lot smaller than it was back then. Eh?
Yeah, so if anyone else wants to join, that's the final call. Join us. Nope.
on.
Okay.
Come on. Yes, you got one more. Whee!
Great. High five. Be careful on cables, stairs, and everything else.
I'm going to insult 2 of our guests for a second here, but George, your talk yesterday was my favorite talk all day. Woo! Could we pass the mic to George for a second? 2 mics, sure.
Hi.
Hello. Well, let's do some introductions first. How about that? We can go this way and just meet our lovely guests.
Yeah, okay. I'm George. I'm a developer at True in Bristol, and I'm also on the core collaborator team, and I'm now an MVP. And I've just spoken at my first Codegarden. And it's my first Codegarden.
Wow.
Nice.
And delivered one of the best talks of the entire conference. So
Yeah, that's a
no pressure
strong
for next
start.
year, hey?
Yeah, Joe Kepley, second umbraco conference, first time as an MVP, and second best Hawaiian shirt
Thank you.
at the conference.
That's the award for next year. Best.
Yeah,
Okay, fab.
sure.
Hi, I'm Rich. I am a cloud software engineer at Nightingale HQ. I am a first-time Codegarden attendee, first-time MVP, and these sentences are the first I've said on a stage at Codegarden. So thank you. Woo!
But not a first-time umbraCoffee guest.
I am a second-time umbraCoffee guest. What a wonderful Christmas that was.
It was Christmas, wasn't it?
It was
Amazing.
magical.
Yeah.
And you had nothing to wear. In Christmas stuff.
Oh, as in Christmas stuff. Okay.
Rather than just in general.
Just yeah. No, you're right. Where do we start here? Rich, you've done some amazing work recently about Astro.
Oh, sure.
And if anyone's playing the Astro drinking game, take a shot. That's the new DXP now, it seems to be. But yeah.
also, have anyone used Astro?
Yeah, okay, one. Oh dear. So it's not as popular, it's just my team with their hands up. Okay, so what is Astro?
So Astro is a static site generation tool. Yesterday, Adam Prendergast did a really lovely talk called Bake, Don't Fry, Astro and umbraCo, which is basically a really lovely beginner's guide to how it's been done. And it's great. It was lovely. I'd met Adam at the umbraCo Spark event last January, and I'd just been playing around with Astro in the daytime during the hackathon. And then I went to the bar, and I met this guy. I was like, oh, hi. Yeah. And we were just chatting. It's like, oh, yeah, I've been doing Astro all day. It's like, oh, I've just had my Codegarden talk about Astro accepted. And we've been chatting about it for the past 6 months and sort of been working on. So, like, together we've sort of put together the official umbraCo and Astro documentation, which crucially is on the Astro site. Like, one of the things about the kind of closed garden of Codegarden, I want to say, like, you know, the idea of the umbraCo living within itself. One of the things that was really important was to get it as an Astro thing, and increasingly to break out of that was really, really important. Astro itself is pretty cool. Check it out. I mean, but by that sentiment, one of the things that I really, really appreciated about this Codegarden, which appears to be the first time, was that all of these talks being recorded and for checking out afterwards. There have been so many talks that I haven't been able to attend, etc. And really, there's like a shopping list of things that I want to talk about. George's talk, of course, being like very top of the list there. But it's been really, really great. And so by that sentiment, check out Adam's talk. He'll give you a better answer than I just did. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, and I just want to say thanks for putting that documentation together, because I think one of the really cool opportunities we have with V14, like inside the community, we look at it as like, this is a big hurdle to get over. But now, really, for the first time, umbraCo is like a full solution for people that may not even know C#. And so there's this whole community we can now reach out to through things like having that doc on Astro is so crucial for that.
So I just wanted to share one thing. One of the reasons that I was interested in Astro, other than Louis's lovely talk, shout outs to Louis at the back for a talk I didn't attend. And basically, Seb actually told me that one of the ways he'd learned about web components and the architecture around V14 was through learning Astro. And it was really interesting, having dealt with Astro for a bit, on Tuesday, what are even our days of the week right now? There were the workshops, and so we had the Whittaker double act, and it was the the 3-hour going through of version 14 tutorial stuff. And it was funny, having dealt with Astro, so much of the tutorial made way more sense in terms of everything. So honestly, I think if anyone is struggling with getting started, obviously the docs are really good for it. Kevin Jum's articles, all the malarkey. But as a framework, which is quite robust already, Astro is actually quite a good onboarding tool to get you in the right headset for that. Just in case anyone's struggling with that. Sorry.
No, absolutely. You've mentioned the talks being missed, and I missed your talk. Unfortunately, I will rewatch it then. But can you tell us about what was the topic of your talk? If anyone else also missed this one.
Yeah, sure. So I had a lightning talk, and I was talking about diabetes technology. So yeah, it was really difficult to talk about this within 10 minutes. That was actually one of the hardest things. But I mainly focused on my personal experience working with diabetes technology, or experience having it in that sense. And then I think it's like interesting, I don't know if people often find it, but when you have a developer's perspective of technology, like knowing how things are created and then looking at it and being like, who decided this? Like, who made this decision? And I think one thing probably happens a lot with medical tech is that you spend so much time investing in research into the actual product, but you don't really think about and like getting it through all of the testing that it must require, but whether actually it's the thing that the user really needs. And I think that's potentially what is missed with these types of products often, is like, yeah, it's an amazing product, but the app we've got is like, diabetics don't actually want what you've given us. So I think it was kind of there to talk about how we should probably all be investing more time into user testing and research and actually making sure the products we create are actually what our users need. And things like open source is great for that, because it's one of those things as like, when there's bugs in these apps, I'm like, Oh.
You can fix it yourself.
If only I could go and fix that.
Because like George,
Yeah.
one of the coolest things was like the slides we were talking about. Here's app 1, here's app 2, here's the closed source things. And then they broke, or there was an update, or I can't disable an alarm and my neighbors are complaining because stuff's too loud. And therefore open source has to do stuff. And that really kind of, limitation being mother of creation, stuff like that, of way the open source has to fill in the cracks of what was already there and then dubiously broken in really oddly specific and irritating, unfixable ways is a fascinating use case. I really thought that was great.
Yeah, I think you could definitely see that, well, from my perspective, the product was not created by people with diabetes.
Well, and I think you run into an interesting intersection there where you get, the profit motive of the business providing this with, increasingly as this technology, you look at things like Neuralink where they're talking about embedding this. When this is embedded in your brain and the company goes out of business or changes their terms of agreement, for God's sakes, what does that look like? So I think it's really a field that's probably needing some regulation and needing some help, and open source is a solve for that.
I've been preparing one talk for one of the UK Fest. It was about high safety critical systems. And it was like for the train operators, radiological systems, and literally it's not that software can go end of life, but really people can go end of life then because of the mistakes in the software. And that's where the high risk is in place, and we can make some jokes and write some code that doesn't work, but when it comes to real life and health, there is no jokes aside, and if someone can fix it, this having fixed is very important. And there was a mention about Wait No More movement back in the days, a couple of years ago, right? It was like people were just annoyed about the things not being done. And again, if we know how to fix things, why not to fix them or suggest the solutions? And we, of course, probably in umbraCo community, we know how to do it because we got used to reporting bugs, making open conversations about issues and problems. But in all the other closed communities, it's not that obvious that you can even raise the issue, right? So that's interesting.
Wow, yeah, it's an intense topic, but yeah, it's something that we could probably talk about for a much longer time. And like I say, really enjoyed the talk.
Yeah.
This is why we build websites, because if we're wrong, nobody dies.
Usually.
Ideally.
Mostly,
So.
yeah, ideally.
I saw some project managers running.
Yeah, project managers. Yeah, sorry, guys.
Maybe just to wrap up, because we've got a packed evening full of exciting things, we could just do a quick one highlight from the three of you for this Codegarden.
Going on stage as MVP, I think that was good.
Yeah, I'd say MVP was definitely a highlight, and I think just the diversity of talks, the diversity of the community, and really seeing this is a huge melting pot of ideas, and the fact that I think what's unique about Codegarden is there's this open conversation and this welcoming atmosphere of really gathering all that and getting the best value out of it.
Storms.
Yeah. For those that don't know, Storms is a street food market very near to the venue here. So
I'll be advocating to become a UNESCO heritage site, protected for the people of Denmark and for us all to celebrate. Codegarden was also good.
Yeah. Amazing. What a wonderful way to wrap up. This is our last umbraCoffee at Codegarden for this year. Tomorrow we have the live Candid Contributions podcast on the stage around lunchtime, 12 o'clock. Laura, what's the time? 12:30. Don't miss that one. But yeah, it's been lovely. Thanks for joining us. We love doing these live. Make sure you tune in every week. And Martin, how's our subscriber count doing?
I just checked, and unfortunately, it didn't change since we started. So,
okay, well, someone lock the doors. You're not leaving until that's
service
fixed.
security. I think we need to do something with it. 22.
So close.
I have my family having 3 YouTube accounts created just to make this number higher. We need to dedicate more to that.
Yeah.
And of course, we love to do that. It was our highlight. I can say it for myself, but it's always a highlight of the year to be here and see the real people, because believe me or not, in front of the computer, it doesn't look like fun that much. And we love doing that, and we will do it until we won't go end of life with the versions that we have. And yeah, thank you all for joining us this year. Thank you all for watching us on YouTube. All of that is recorded. Usually we have a really nice history of that for us as well to get back to some funny moments in the past. And if you have anything interesting, anything that you are hiding behind the scenes and you want to show it off for people, reach out to us. We always want to hear and show amazing things that are being done inside of our community. And now we can just log out and see what will surprise us during the umbraCo bingo dinner.
Dinner, not bingo.
Dinner. Bingo, dinner.
Dinner. Cool. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next year.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Coffee.
Coffee. Who wants coffee? There's some coffees. Cat did leave a couple.
You need to have a mug, then join us